Hi, I'm Sadie Porter, and this is my individual presentation on theoretical perspectives in language development. What are theoretical perspectives? Different ideas about what influences a child's language development. The five perspectives: nativist, cognitive development, behaviorist, socioculture, and interactive emergentist. Nature and nurture both play a part in each theory. What is nature versus nurture? Nature versus nurture. Nature is pre-programmed or hereditary development, where nurture is the blank slate development or influenced by things around them. How big of a role do nature and nurture play? The role of nature versus nurture varies in each theory, and some theories take nature and nurture into account. The nativist perspective focuses on nature. Major contributors Chomsky and Pinker. Naomi Chomsky identified grammatical aspects of language and described the rule system for using language. He called the rule system universal grammar, which he defined as the system of principles, conditions, and rules that are elements or properties of all human language. Chomsky also gave us LAD, or the language acquisition device, an inborn language-specific mechanism. Steven Pinker gave us language is an instinct. Everyone has a language, so it must be a human biological instinct rather than from culture, as Chomsky believed. Cognitive development perspective focuses on nature. This theory states that language is acquired as we mature and cognitive skills develop. Jean Piaget, the major contributor for the cognitive development perspective, states that the first stage, or sensory motor stage, is where understanding of language comes through experiences and motor activities. Object permanence is a precursor to the onset of language. It is a cognitive ability that means objects exist even when out of sight. Piaget doesn't believe that babbling is language. Symbolic representation is when a child appears to use previous experiences to figure out a new task. The second stage, or pre-operational stage, happens from years 2 to 7 and begins by using words, images, and drawings. Starts out as egocentrical or about oneself and moves to social speech. The behaviorist perspective focuses on nurture. There are no mention of a single or a group of major contributors. Learning occurs due to associations between stimuli, responses, and events that occur after the response behavior. Operant conditioning is learning through reinforcement by attention, repetition, and approval. Operant conditioning explains the process of imitative speech, which is the production of speech that approximates the speech of another person. Sociocultural perspective focuses on nurture. Children acquire language through attempts to communicate with the world around them. The major contributors: Vygotsky, Tomasello, and Camborne. Vygotsky claimed that speech has social origins, while Tomasello emphasized that children learn they can engage others in communication, which he labeled joint attention. The ways in which an environment supports children's language explorations have been referred to as the Language Acquisition Support System, or LASS. Camborne, another major contributor to the sociocultural perspective, gave us the 8 conditions that support oral language development. These 8 conditions are immersion, demonstration, engagement, expectations, responsibility, approximation, employment, and response. Interactive emergentist focuses both on nature and nurture. It is a combination of the cognitive, language, and neurolinguistics. Bloom and Tinker, the major contributors, believe in a child's active role in their learning. It takes effort from the child to learned language. The science proves that both nature and nurture play a role in development. Neurolinguistics is language in the brain and incorporates anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry in relation to language processing. The brain is pre-wired for language. The brain and spinal cord make up the central nervous system, and the peripheral nervous system involves nerve pathways that connect the spinal cord to other parts of the body. Main parts of the cell are cell body, axons, and dendrites. Axons carry away, while dendrites carry information to the cell body. An axon terminal connects one cell to another by synapse. Growth of these synapses are made by experiences. The brain is divided into two hemispheres. Each hemisphere is involved in cognitive function. Development of these functions is called lateralization. We know the brain plays the most critical role in language production because when the brain damage is experienced, language abilities can be lost, which is called aphasia. Paul Barocca and Carl Wernicke, two neurologists, found that damage to specific areas of the brain cause specific loss of language capabilities, whether it's speech production, understanding speech, written language, or other language-related skills. And on the next page, we have the citations for the book, which is where I got my information. Thank you very much for watching.